educator for the day, and we are going to discuss the top 20 figures of speech. We all know that there are so many figures of speech, but I am here only to discuss the top 20 figures of speech. So let's start. But first, we will begin with our objectives. First, identify the top 20 figures of speech that the students can easily remember. Second is to classify and what are the differences of each figures of speech, and lastly to illustrate each figure of speech with an example on it. So what is figures of speech? Figures of speech is a word or a phrase using figurative language or a language that has other meaning than its normal definition. In other words, figures of speeches rely on implied or suggested meaning rather than the dictionary definition. We express and develop them through hundreds and different rhetorical techniques, from specific types like metaphor, simile, to more general forms like sarcasm and slang. So next, we will move on to the top 20. So first, we have the alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of an initial consonant sound. Here are example above below it is the example. Example she saw seashells by the seashore. We can see that there are consonant sound, repeated consonant sound in every word in every word. So next is anaphora. Anaphora is the repetition of the same word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses or verses. Below it is the example. Unfortunately, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time on the wrong way. You can see that there are repeated words at the beginning in each verse. The third is antithesis. It is the juxtaposition of contrasting ideas in balanced phrases. Example is, as Abraham Lincoln said, folks who have no vices have very few virtues. Fourth is the apostrophe. Apostrophe is a directly addressing a non-existent person or an immediate object as though it were a living being. Example. Oh, you stupid car. You never work when I need you to bird sign. We can see that the car is a non-existent person or object here in the example. So fifth is the assonance. Assonance is identity rather, or similarity in sound between internal vowels in neighboring words. Example: how now, brown cow. Six. Chiasmus. Chiasmus is a verbal pattern in which the sound half of an expression is balanced against the first, but with the parts reversed. Example: the famous chef said people should live to eat, not eat to live. 7. Euphemism. Euphemism is a substitution of an inoffensive term for one considered offensively explicit. Under it is the example. We're teaching our toddler how to go potty, Bob said. 8 is the hyperbole. It is an extravagant statement or the use of exaggerated terms for the purpose of emphasizing or heightened effect. Example: I have a ton of things to do when I get home. 9. Irony. Irony is the use of words to convey the opposite of the literal meaning. Example: oh, I love spending big bucks, said my dad, a notorious penny pincher. 10. Litotes. It is a figure of speech consisting of an understatement, in which an affirmative is expressed by negating its opposite. Under it is the example. 11. Metaphor. It is an implied comparison between two dissimilar things that have something in common. Example. All the world is a stage. It is comparing something but without using like or as. Metonymy. Metonymy is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is substituted for another with which it is closely associated. Example: that stuffed suit with a briefcase is a poor excuse for a salesman, the manager said angrily. Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the use of words imitate the sounds associated with the objects or actions they refer to. Example: the clap of the thunder went bang and scared and my poor dog. Bang, boom, like that is an example also of onomatopoeia. Oxymoron. Oxymoron is a figure of speech in which incongruous or contradictory terms appear side by side. Example: he popped the jumbo shrimp in his mouth. Paradox. A statement that appears to contradict itself. Example: this is the beginning of an end, said Ayers, always with businessmen. We can definitely see that the statement here to what contradict to what he or he was going to say. 16. Personification. Personification is a figure of speech in which an inanimate object or abstraction is endowed with human abilities or abilities. Example: that kitchen knife will be take a bite out of your hand if you don't pronounce it. Pun. A play of words sometimes in different senses of the same word and sometimes in a similar sense or sound to different words. Example: Jessie lit up from her breakfast and said, a boiled egg every morning is hard to beat. Simile. A stated comparison usually formed with like or as between two fundamentally similar things that have certain qualities in common. Example: Roberto was white as a sheet after he walked out of the horror movie. 19. Synecdoche. It is a figure of speech in which a part is used to represent a whole. Tina is learning her ABCs in a preschool. The ABCs here is representing the whole alphabet. Lastly is understatement. Understatement is a figure of speech in which a writer or speaker deliberately makes a situation seem less important or serious than it is. Example: if you think Babe Ruth was a decent ball player, the reporter said with a wink. So I hope that you would learn some lesson here. So thank you very much